All right, this is part 2. In the next step, you want to think about how the sites are connected with each other, and for that we made a little site map. Okay, you can just draw it on a piece of paper. Okay, so this is your home page, and in the owl example, the way I would do it, that doesn't mean you have to do it this way, of course. I would start with the home page, and I would give the visitor a chance to go to the page called OWL1 and connect it to OWL2. Let's just say O2 and O3 or O3. Okay. So this way I know that I want to have a link that goes from here to here. Okay. But I might also want to have a link that goes back to the home page. So when somebody is looking at this site, they have a chance to go back. They might even have, if you so desire, have a chance to go from OWL1 directly to OWL2 without having to go back to the home page. The same for OWL number 2, from the home page to OWL2 and back. Okay, and let's say from here to here, from home to 3, from 3 back to home, from 3 to 2, from 2 to 1. Okay, now it's getting a bit messy. You get the idea, yes? And of course, you should be able to go from 1 to 3, okay? The navigation is in the end going to take care of that. So, but this is just to give you a rough idea of how things are connected. You go to your website. I call this one OWL website. You click on the workspace once, you right click, and you say open with Editor. So you have an index already, but we're going to make the other documents first. Under File, New HTML file, okay, and you follow the outline you did before when you made your documents. I recommend you use the same names, okay, makes it a bit easier. And I also recommend that you don't put spaces in between the names. It does actually take it, but I'm skeptical. This might cause difficulties down the line, okay? So there's one file called OWL number 1. So I just had to go and do something real quick, which is I made an HTML start document that you can use. I shared it with you via Google. So what you do with this is you can open it inside of Editor. Okay, so you will find this under your shared with me documents here. Okay, and then you just say add to my drive. Okay, and you move it into your website folder here, so it ends up sitting here. Okay, it's called HTML start, and you can say edit, add files to workspace, and then you can add this file to your workspace. And this way you don't have to go ahead and start typing all of this from scratch for every new HTML document you make here. So this is the first document we made, owl1.html. Okay, now you go to the HTML start, you copy all of this, or you highlight it, you copy it, Control C, then you go back here, say Control V, and then you have the basics set up. There we go. I'm going to call it, not surprisingly, OWL1. Okay, so it shows up like this. This is your first document, so the OWL number 2 and OWL number 3 need one as well, of course. So we say File, New HTML file. I call it OWL2, and I'll just copy all of this in there. And because I'm lazy, I'm just going to copy this here, the H1. I'm going to put this in here as well. Come on, there we go. And I just replace the text between the tags with the words OWL2. Yay! OWL2. Wonderful. Close this, and we make another one. Okay, here we go. Again, copy this, paste it, OWL3. Okay, so just check real quick. Voila, there we go. Yes, so now let's start out by linking the documents with each other in the way that we laid out in our little sitemap here. So I'm going to say Owl Barn or whatever. So I need to change this yellow there. That should do the trick. There we go. Easiest way to start building a navigation is to use an unordered list. Okay, we used these before, so you have UL and you have the /UL, and then you start to put in some items. Keep hitting the shift button. So the first one would be OWL1. OWL1, okay. But we don't want this to be just, I mean, you can leave it like this if you want, but you're not going to have a link, so you need to put in a link. Use the A tag. Like this. So here you need to put the name of the document, okay? If the document is called owl1.html, okay, then you just say owl1.html, okay? Here's the link, and when you click on it, you end up with OWL1, okay? You end up on the page OWL1. Make sure that the spelling here is exactly the same as it is in the name of the document, or else it will not work, okay? If I were to put in OWL1 lowercase, yeah, then I would still get a link, but it would not work because the browser does not know the difference, does not know that OWL1 and OWL1 is the same document, okay? So there we go. Now I'm going to copy this whole lot and I'm going to replace OWL1 with OWL2 and with OWL3, and I'm going to change the text that I want to show up on the link as well. There we go. Why does it say all one in all of them? I don't understand. There we go. Oh, sometimes the thing is just a bit slow. You just gotta reload. So let's test them really quick. It brings us to AL1. Let's reload the index. It brings us to AL2. Reloading the index, and it brings us to AL3. So this has given us, let me get another color here, this connection, and this connection. Okay, 1, 2, 3 from the home page there. So, but we want to be able to go someplace from the AL3 and from the AL1. So there's many different ways of thinking about this. So this is, you can do this your own way. I'm just trying to show you how to do it one way, basically. Okay, so let's pretend this is my first AL page, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this whole list. Okay, put it in here. There we go. But I don't want to have links to all of the ALs, not to myself, to AL1. Okay, so I'm going to replace this with the word, let's say, barn, back to barn, and then this one needs to connect back to the exactly index. Okay, so let's reload this real quick. So this brings us indeed to AL2, okay, and this brings us to the owl barn, and from the owl barn we can still go all the other places. Okay, so now let's copy this and move it over to the next document. AL2 barn, we don't want AL2, replace AL2 with AL1, also in the name. Okay, and one more time all of this, and here we're going to replace AL3 with AL1. Okay, there we go. So now they are linked, they all link back to the home page, and they're all linked with each other. Okay.